Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Here I talk about my inner journey, a magical, messy journey that started 5 years ago. And I don't know when it's gonna end or if it's ever gonna end. Today I want to talk about my history of paralyzing fear of being seen for who I am. The longest, most triggering story of my life, which is also connected to my lifetime history around taking action and perfectionism. So, my main survival strategy when I was a kid was being invisible, staying as quiet and invisible as possible so I can keep myself emotionally and physically safe from my unpredictable, emotionally unstable, and physically abusive caregiver. I was on my own. I had no one to go to, and my survival was threatened on a daily basis to my nervous system, to my inner child, and to my inner world. Being seen was equal to real physical threat to my survival. Throughout my life, any action that put me in the place of being seen for who I am brought up this intense anxiety and chest pain, leaving me paralyzed to function and go through my day. And all I heard inside my inner world was this scream of panic telling me that I'm going to die. I call it survival anxiety, and it's the most extreme anxiety I experience. I believe that most of us experience this anxiety of being seen on a spectrum, and I believe that I was on the most extreme side on it. I spent every second of my life scanning everyone's smallest face mood changes and body languages, people pleasing with every word coming out of my mouth, and looking for signs of approval from even the tiniest interactions with others to know that I'm safe, approved, and accepted. And that was exhausting. I was exhausted every single day just to survive. When when I uploaded my first video here on YouTube, I went through 6 weeks of heaviest chest pain and anxiety, crawling in darkness, observing wars going on inside, and thinking I will never get out of it because it was the scariest thing for my inner world and for my nervous system. Although I was preparing myself for this step for a very long time in my therapy sessions. I uploaded my second video in survival mode, but not like pushing myself forward or forcing myself to do something that was making me feel threatened. I was observing my inner world to see where it's all coming from, to remind all of my inner parts that I'm safe now. And it's safe to be out here being myself and to give all of my inner parts love, compassion, and acceptance. Continuing to put myself out here, discovering myself and telling my stories, and receiving good enough feedback from people who are close to me, and also putting myself out there in my everyday life and asking for what I need, expressing my emotions, and setting boundaries, and again, receiving good enough feedback from people who are close to me showed my inner world that I am safe now. And I don't live in a reality of being completely ignored, harshly criticized, physically and emotionally abused when I express myself, my needs, and my emotions. I know that I might still experience being ignored, criticized, or disrespected. But I also know now that it's not the only absolute reality of my life anymore. And if anything like that happens, I am capable of protecting myself and my being. The more I give myself permission to be myself, and the more I surround myself with people who are safe enough so I can be myself, and the more I go through experiences of being myself and feeling safe enough, the safer my inner world feels to let go of mechanisms I once needed to survive. The moment that it sat in my body and in my being that I am worthy and I am enough, and I felt love, compassion, and acceptance for all of who I am, for all of my parts, for my past, and for my present, was the moment that I knew shifts were going to happen. And little by little, It changed my inner dialogues, my interactions with others, and my view of myself and the world around me. And every time that something comes up, a feeling, anxiety, a conflict inside, I'm like, oh, another part that I'm going to meet and love, another feeling to bring up and feel and see where it's coming from, and another chance to know deeper what's going on inside, but not in an obsessive way, but with curiosity, love, and patience. To me, this journey of feeling and healing is magical. Of course, messy, frustrating, and confusing, but magical. Uh, I know how hard it was till I get here, and how much I was just surviving instead of living in the present moment, and how much feeling, healing, and inner work I still have to experience. The fact that I have the chance to rewrite my belief system, to rewire my nervous system, and to rebuild my inner world gives me hope. I show up every day with love, patience, and care for all of me. And my wish here with sharing my journey is to remind you that you are worthy and you are enough. Just need to remember it and let it sit in your being, and give love and compassion to the magical, messy being that you are, and let it shift your life slowly to the path of more presence, acceptance, and fulfillment. I am really excited that I'm out here telling my story, and it really makes me happy that you are listening to my story. Thank you so much for being here.